Hello, everyone. Welcome to an episode of 10,000 Fledges. I've got Meg and Ryan from Madison. How you guys doing today?
Pretty good.
Yeah, doing well.
That's good. I got an echo going on. So, 10,000 Fledges, we talk about the concept of what that might mean. And you guys usually prepare a great question for me, no pressure. And we flip over the 10-minute timer. When I was walking down today, I was like 10-minute, 10,000. I never made that connection. So maybe there's some groups of tens happening right now. So you ready for me to flip and you start asking?
Let's roll.
Yeah, sounds
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
Okay. So I'm thinking a bit forward in terms of like we're getting our vaccinations soon, and hopefully we'll be going back to a world where we can gather more easily and regularly and safely. And so that we're starting to look at location for a physical Fledge in Madison. And with that comes rent and other things. And so what comes to mind is we've got some ideas on how we might fund the Fledge, but I'm curious what if someone wants to start a Fledge somewhere in their community, like what sources of funding, what might we be looking for to keep this sustainable?
Yeah, that's a good question. So kind of working backwards with what the Fledge did. I mean, obviously we're in this like 11,000 square foot old it was an abandoned church at the time. And before that, we had 3,600 square feet in Grand Ledge that we were renting to somebody or renting from somebody who was a Fledge supporter. And so we got a good deal on rent. There was a lot of leeway on whether there was a long lease or if it was month to month or whatever. So I think part of it is just trying to find a relationship with a building owner that they might get behind the cause. So that's, when we talk about making money at the Fledge, it's always two parts of the equation. Can we increase our revenue or can we decrease our cost? And I think sometimes in the beginning, we don't think about decreasing the costs right off the start. So, we're the hypothesis with the Fledge is we're really good at building relationships and networking, and we understand that relationships need to be symbiotic. So maybe there's a building owner who wants to get something moving. Maybe he's got buildings around him where he wants to vitalize or revitalize the space or, whatever they want to do. They might have some value that they see by having a Fledge there. So I think part of it is just, bootstrapping too. We used to have the coding club inside of a restaurant on Saturday afternoons. We met up at other places like the one of the pubs for some meetups that we would have. And we didn't really worry about the space. It just kind of, I'm going to say it again, but the order emerged when it was time for the order to emerge. And, so again, sticking with that bootstrapping, but you really asked the funding part of it. And I think that, it's hard to get a grant in the current times if you are not established already, right? Because all the grants are for relief and survival and just trying to keep the businesses open that are out there. But I think we're going to see a trend where people are going to want to do grants for startups because as these restaurants close, it's going to be, I call it the Bubba Gump thing, where, they went out into the storm and all the ships that stayed back got wrecked. And then pretty soon he's the only, Bubba Gump's the only shrimp catchers. I don't know what the word is, shrimpers. And it, they get very successful. Well, all of these restaurants that are closing, there's going to be like other restaurants that need to come up and other economic development things. So we've got to we kind of got to look at it like an ecosystem, and some things have died off, and we've got to throw them on the compost and make that new, deep in nutrition fertilizer for the new things that are going to grow. And that's just cycles of ecosystems that you see in nature all the time. And so in biomimicry, we would look for those, and we would, I guess, take advantage of them. But that sounds like I'm talking about on the backs of the people that lost their restaurants or whatever it might be. So I think there's going to be some balance coming in where we've got to protect those that are out there and try to help them survive, but there's got to be new starting to come in. And I think we'll see that soon. So grants with your economic development, like I'm sure Madison has something that's equivalent to the Lansing Economic Area Partnership, or Wisconsin has something equivalent to the Michigan Economic Development Corp. So there's probably people out there who would be interested. And then the problem becomes you have to talk their language. You have to say incubator, you have to say economic development. And, that can get a little frustrating because I always felt like it's so much more than that. And it felt limiting to say those things. But what you don't want to do is debt. Nothing like getting a loan or anything like that, because as soon as you do that, you're starting to participate in that cycle that can be so unhealthy. Because if you have to pay your loan payment and you can't get out of it, and you've got so many more payments left to do, you've basically just rented out or sold your future. And that can become very constricting when you want to be radically inclusive and no barriers and, no rules, values, not rules, so I would definitely don't, non-dilutive things like grants are great. Revenue is great. If there's a way, just ask for, pay what you can. If you come to a meeting, throw $5 in. And if your rent's $500 a month, you got to have 100 people that are wanting to throw $5 in.
Yes, we're both in a space of like not really wanting to do just one thing. Like I have this mind that like, okay, if I want to cook for people, then I become a chef. Or if I want to like make teas, then I become an herbalist. But that's like we're thinking about how many different revenue streams or different offerings can we have. So like maybe I cook a community meal that's donation based, and maybe Ryan grows food and also herbs for teas and smoking blends and things like that we can have like so many different things happening rather than just that one job. So these conversations are kind of deconstructing what I think of as a job, which is cool.
Yeah, I think that I've been very fortunate because I've got like this huge lab play space. So if I'm bored with, like, let's say writing software or being in that realm, I can just pop over to growing plants, or I can pop over to painting a kitchen or whatever. So there's so much to do that you can just choose things that, are, yeah, they're work, but they're also entertaining, or they're fun, or they're distracting, or it's like reading something new. And I just think that, it also helps kind of look at the work week and think, all right, we've got this 40-hour work week, but in the corporate world, sometimes that's 60, 70, 80 hours, and we're going the wrong way. We need to be creating things that we can get done in 15 hours a week, and that's the work, and try to get to, I feel like I have a 15-hour work week for my job. I just happen to have 4 jobs. But I don't, it's not like I'm stressed about that. It's one thing to another thing to another thing, and all of them are feeding and nurturing some need that I have, whether it's my creative need or my financial need or my relationship need. I feel like it's so biodiverse around me that it's easy to harvest value and to look at value as a lot more than just dollars. It's valuable that my daughter just walked in and we're going to work together for the next couple of hours. That that's valuable to me. And it's not going to be work. I'm spending time with my daughter. So I don't know. Am I answering the question?
And you said recently, I think maybe in a therapy Thursday or another Scrum space, like with resource, I can do a lot with resource. And that's changed my thinking a bit too. Like we don't necessarily need stacks of cash, maybe for rent and utilities, but like how much can we harness different resources to
Definitely.
bring us in more?
Oh, I just was thinking of like a monocrop versus a field planted with a variety of things. Of course, the variety is going to thrive, and the monocrop dies out or has problems or gets sick or is
Yeah.
susceptible to disease. I know about that.
And I do want to also add that I did discount the need for a building in the beginning. I didn't think that it was super necessary, but once we had a building, that's when everything really expanded and blew up because it's not easy to go to a restaurant and a bar and all these things when they're all busy and everyone's drinking and you're trying to teach kids code,
Do a meditation
so
class at the pub.
yeah. So, and then I do think you're at a bit of an advantage too because of so much virtual, um, I guess, conversion in the last year. And yeah, we're all sick of Zoom and we're all sick of all these things, but some of it's going to stick and some of it's going to be a better format than what we have before. I mean, even just something like this today, I if we did this 3 years ago, I wouldn't have recorded. We'd be doing this on, you know, WebEx or something. We wouldn't be recording it. It would just be a quick meeting and we'd lose that whole history and culture. So I think there's some good in that, but also, it's a lot better to be in a meeting with everybody and read everybody and feel the energy and know, how to facilitate that or how to participate in it or whatever. So I think we made a little progress on that. I don't have a list of 6 funding sources, but that's what I'd be thinking if I were you. So,
Yeah, thank you so much.
Awesome. Yeah, this is
all
great.
right. So stay tuned next week and we'll have another episode of 10,000 Fledges, or maybe we won't. We're kind of loose about it. And thanks for everything. I will see you guys. Oh, I've started signing in all my. See you later, everyone.